And let's start our conversation on getting your time back, streamlining your marketing. I'm really excited to introduce you all to our expert for today, Jam Anderson. Jam is the driving force behind Jam AI, dedicated to making AI easy and accessible for everyone. With 20 years of success in traditional marketing, she quickly recognized the power of AI and jumped right in. Now, Jam is all about turning AI complexity into clarity, helping business leaders, entrepreneurs, and marketing pros harness AI without the hassle. She's known for her ability to simplify even the most complicated concepts. She's the expert you need to guide you through the AI landscape so you can focus on what you love. She obviously used her AI assistant to help write this, so I hope you liked it. Welcome, Jam.
Hi, thank you so much. And Brittany, thank you for the overview of all your programs. I'm definitely going to be checking those out. It's awesome. Well, we have a lot to get through today, so I'm just going to jump right in. Thank you for that intro. So, my name is Robin Anderson. My friends call me Jam. It's my nickname. And if we haven't met yet, hi. Some quick backstory about how I got here is, well, I graduated college, we'll start there, back in the recession 2007. My dad had just lost his job. My parents went bankrupt and lost my childhood home. I came out of college with this nice degree, but that debt was like all consuming. And I never wanted my friends to know what I was going through, and I decided I had to learn how to hustle. So I took a commission only sales job at a web development company. And I was lucky enough to sit next to a woman. This is her represented in this AI video I made, named Lauren. And I studied everything she did and, put my own flair on it. I'll tell you, nothing will light a fire under your butt like knowing you're in a room with people who have access to the same product that you have, and you're watching them make 50, 60, $70,000 a month in sales, and you know you could do it if you just would learn how to do this sales thing. So I ended up just figuring it out. After 6 months, I was making a living. After a year, I was helping my parents. And 2 years in, I actually left and started my own agency. I went on to grow that to about 25 employees. We had a really good run, and I have a whole story about that, but that's for another time. But the success that I created for myself in my sales career was based on knowing who I was talking to and how to talk to them. It seems super simple, right? It's simple sales and marketing 101. But something so simple is actually super complex. I ended up selling my company and joined another agency, and they sent me through this elite sales training program through a big name school you all heard of before. It was a 6 month program to create your sales and marketing brand book. And, halfway through, I knew I was going to finish the whole thing, but halfway through, I knew it just wasn't for me. It was archaic, it was geared all towards men. And I was crushing it back in my agency jobs. And some of the things they were showing me seemed backwards and were not helping me at all. So that lit another fire for me. I took some time off, started my family, and I said, I'm going to create my own sales and marketing training. And I put all this time into it, a good amount of money into it. I was producing videos for the final review. And then this little thing called ChatGPT appeared. It was late 2022, early 2023, and it became available to the public. So I had to pivot. I saw the writing on the wall, and I decided to create a program that was sales and marketing based, but powered by AI. So I ended up creating Jam AI, and our main product is called Club Jam. And it's a community for people who are looking to do their sales and marketing powered by AI. So it's a really great place, and I'll talk more about that at the end, but that's who I am and why I'm here. And today I'm going to show you some of these really amazing AI tools that are changing everyone's lives, especially when it comes to running and growing your business. But first, I want to answer a question for some people who might be new here, or maybe it's one of their first AI sessions. So I want to just answer, what is AI? And we could get into the technological side of it, but I don't want to bore you with that. What I want you to know about AI is that it's a branch of computer science that's focused on creating systems that can simulate human cognitive functions like learning, reasoning, problem solving, and understanding language. So, really, that's all you need to know. All you need to know is that data goes in, it processes and learns on that data, and then it makes decisions of what that output is. You've seen the output, it could be anything from LLMs like ChatGPT, where it's mostly text-based, to imagery and to video. So we're going to go over all three of those by the end of this and really show you how and what AI is. We're a more hands-on training type crew. So if you are out there and you're looking for an AI tool to use, you may run into something like this, like just way too many logos and options coming at you. And if you think it's been coming at you fast, you're right. So in 2023, there were approximately 14,700 AI tools, which we felt was just completely inundating because it was the first year everything was out, and we were like, whoa, it's coming at us so fast. And now, 2025, the number of tools is at about 77,933. So that's an increase of about 295% growth just in those past 2 years. So, of course, it's really hard to figure out how to keep up. Another statistic that I find really amazing is if you're using ChatGPT, you are one of 700 million that are using it. Actually, they have 700 million weekly active users worldwide, and they're aiming to have 1 billion users by the end of the year. I think they'll actually get there because every time I go do a keynote or workshop, that's one of the questions I ask. I have people raise their hand. And, 2 years ago when I started, it was a handful of people in the room. And now it's only a handful of people in the room who aren't using it. So, how do you keep up and how do you go from this old way of working to the new day? I want to go all the way back to 2022 and just think about how we used to work and think about some of these elements that you're still doing today. And then we'll talk about the new work day and how you can kind of change things up. So we'd start our 8 or 10 hour workday around 8:30, and we would, do the inbox avalanche dance and get through all of our email that we'd have to read and reply, flag, sometimes put into a CRM. And then we'd go on to social media content creation, writing captions, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, they're all different. We'd have to spend time finding images and resources, downloading, resizing, and posting manually. And that took a couple hours just to get it ready. And then we had to do some prospect research, of course. I think sales and marketing go hand in hand. So you'll hear me talk about sales and marketing activities. So Googling your prospects, you'd copy their information onto a spreadsheet. You'd manually search LinkedIn and Instagram. I put mom dealing with kids on this because I know in 2022, a lot of us were still trying to figure out the work from home life. And then mid-afternoon, you've been working all day. You start into your marketing emails. You'll write some promotional emails from scratch. You have to manually check your grammar, and then you might spill coffee on it and get frustrated and have to go on a walk. So it's a whole thing. And then, a couple hours later, we end our day. We're doing follow-up. We're writing proposals, making calls. So, this all sounds probably pretty typical and familiar. And then end of the day, we're just kind of doing our forecasting. And because there's so many holes in the data that we have, it's really just best guess at this point. 2025 has brought an entire new way to use AI. I could have done the workday each year, right? It changed 2023, it changed 2024, and now in 2025, it's changed quite a bit because it's transitioned from that content creation tool to an agentic AI that'll go out and do things for you, representing kind of like a chief of staff that can actually go do stuff for you. So if you were using automation to the best of its ability and you had all of these things in place, here's what your day would look like. 8:30 a.m., you'd wake up and you'd review your AI action plan that was created overnight. Overnight, it was reviewing communications, market news, pipeline movements from the day before, and it would give you 3 actions to take to get the highest predicted revenue impact. And that's what you would do for the next hour is just do those really interesting and you would do those leads that will actually make you increase your revenue. And then at 9:40, you'd move on, just 1 hour later, you're done with all of your prospecting. And so you'll do new prospect research and business development. Your AI can pull real-time data on 50 leads from a CRM. It can generate insights and give you conversation starters. So all of this ready for outreach in just 10 minutes. And then social media content done in just a few minutes as well. All you do is you go to your custom GPT that's built for you and you type in theme of the week. It'll instantly generate a 5-post plan with captions, hashtags, AI generated images in your brand and style, and schedule onto your platforms for the week in 15 minutes. And then you can move on. It's only 10:40 a.m. You pour your second cup of coffee, and then you work on your personalized email campaigns. You have AI drafted and segmented promotional emails based on past behavior and purchase history. You can have A/B tests ready to go with subject lines for you to just review and approve and send. All of this in just 10 minutes. Then you could do some fun stuff, do some creative brainstorming, and use AI to come up with new webinar themes that you can do, headlines, and partnership ideas, because you'll actually have time to do those. And then the real reason we're all in our jobs, connection, relationships, and growing our businesses through our network. We never have time for this anymore. But when you're using AI, you'll actually have time to go make those connections, meet in person, try a new coffee. If you're lucky, you can even get a workout in. So you could use your AI generated workout plan and then have lunch delivered and ordered by your AI agent. You're going to finish off the day with learning and innovation. And this is the most important thing on your calendar. This will help you learn what you can do to make your day even more efficient. And then the rest of the day is flexible. You can leave early or invest in some strategic high value work or go meet somebody for happy hour. But your day is done by 2:30 and you've gotten more work done than ever before. This is the new workday. And I know that's a lot of technology and it can sound scary and impossible, but it's not. It's really about just knowing where to start. And I have some good news for you because no matter what you're selling, whether it's rubber chickens or video production or maybe coconut mints, scented candles, there's one thing that's always true. Marketing is about impressions and sales is about connections. And growth is about doing more consistently. The more touch points you have equals the more chances to win new business. So AI is going to help us create all this content and get in front of these people so that we can make more connections. Remember, AI is not here to replace you, it's here to amplify you. So here is a 3-step approach to get more done. First, we're going to have to always learn and keep up with these new AI tools. You're going to have a great sales and marketing plan based on old school foundational concepts. And then you need to learn how to automate and create a system with these 2 things. So today we're going to go over these. I'm going to do a high level overview of all of these tools for you, and then we're actually going to go in and play with some in real time. So you guys saw that slide I had before with the 57 or 70,000 tools. And you might be wondering, how did we choose these? These are free, first of all, AI tools that anyone can use. They all have subscriptions up to a certain amount of use, but you could use these for free every day. And the other reason I chose these is that these have been popular vote. So I asked real business owners what they use, and this was it. So I'm going to do an overview and then we'll jump in. So, of course, I'm sure most of you on this call are good friends with ChatGPT at this point, but there's a few ways that you can use it that people don't know about to make it even better. So, first things is you can go in and you can give it custom instructions. And I'm going to show you this live. So, we'll just do a high level. You can create projects. So this is important if you're somebody who uses ChatGPT for maybe multiple clients or you use it for work in your personal life. So for example, if you're using it for your work in your personal life, maybe your personal life, you're always asking it about your horoscope and your sun sign and how the moon will affect your mood that day or whatever it is that you're interested in. But then you're also a director of communications for a association that focuses on, I don't know, healthcare. So your chat GPT memory will be a little bit discombobbled because it'll know who you are to a point. But if you want to keep things really clean and not train your chat GPT on both of those conversations, you would want to create projects inside chat GPT, one for your work and then one for your personal life, or just one for work and keep your personal life as your main account. So that is a good way to keep those things separate. The next thing is this is a AI business blueprint. And I used to talk all about prompting, and prompting is still really important. But what's changed is that how we educate our LLM, whether it's ChatGPT or Claude or Gemini, that's become more important. So this is just a simple survey about your business that you fill out, and then you can upload it with all of your prompts and GPTs, and you get a much better answer. If you didn't get that, the follow-up email will have that as well. So these are GPTs, and these are free to use for those free accounts. The thing that's not free is if you want to create your own. So I will show you those. The next tool is Claude, and Claude is another LLM. And if you haven't tried it, I highly suggest you give it a try. And some people are like, well, why would I need two? You don't technically need to, but Claude's really great at mimicking your exact voice. So one thing that I really like is it's easily going into your Google Drive, Gmail, calendar. ChatGPT is actually doing that now as well. But the other cool thing is that it will create a writing style. So maybe your brand has a really specific writing style, or maybe you personally have a specific way that you write. What you can do is you could add writing samples. So you could upload PDFs or just create text documents that have examples of your writing style and then name it. And so it will go ahead and write in your exact style, and it does such a good job. The next tool I'll show you is Manus. Manus is an agentic AI, and what's interesting is that this latest ChatGPT 5 release is making this kind of have a run for its money. But we'll do a little test today to see how they're different. But agentic AI means that when you prompt it and say, hey, I want to learn all about how to play poker, you don't have to say, go to howtoplaypoker.com and tell me how to play it. It'll actually go out into the world, research websites for you, and come back with that information. So it's making decisions on its own about where to go and what to do. This tool and a couple others like it can also build websites, build apps, and help you with your coding. So it's pretty cool. Here's just kind of an example, but I'll show you in real life too. I asked it to create a website for tourism in Texas. So I didn't tell it to go to this place. I didn't say go to texastourism.com. It just decided to do that. It also tells you everything it does step by step, which is kind of cool. And then it shows you its execution plan on what it's going to do. Um, this tool takes about 15-20 minutes to go through and do its entire thing. So I did do one today ahead of time that we could look at, but it built this website, and then it shows you all the files it made and kind of a snapshot of what it learned. I'll be showing you Ideogram as well. Ideogram is a really great image creation tool. And you can see this is an example of a prompt. One of the things I like to talk about, and I'll show you when we're in there, is tool stacking. So using ChatGPT, using Claude for these types of prompts, because I don't know about you, but I would never know how to be so descriptive in my prompting to get a picture like this. Two more, then we're going to go live, go right into it. So Flow, this is a Google product and it is a Google video creation product. And talking about prompts, the last one was just about creating that imagery. Well, with video prompting, you have to talk about cinematography and movement. So you definitely need an AI to help you with prompting your videos, and I'll show you how to do that. This is kind of a fun example that I had it create. Looks like a good party out there. This was for a keynote I did in Texas, which is why it's all about Texas. I thought it was pretty fun. And then finally, this last image creation tool, I can't pass it up. I think it's too cool. And a lot of people pass it by, but this is neat because you can upload pictures. One of the agencies I used to work at, it was really hard to do their social media because nobody wanted to be in the social media that worked there. They're all really private. And this would have been a good way around it because you could upload the actual pictures. And then with a prompt, like I think this prompt says, having happy hour with coworkers outside. And so it takes those two pictures and merges them together. And then there's a little button here that says animate. And so it'll actually animate whatever you want to show there, which is pretty cool. So this is a good example of how to use Whisk, and I really like that for social media. Okay, I'm going to share a different screen just so I can do some real life show and tell. All right. So we're in ChatGPT. I want to show you some of the things I was talking about for those of you who haven't used the GPTs and projects before. You just open your sidebar. And the first thing is GPTs. So click into those. And again, GPTs are basically kind of like chatbots that have been trained on a very specific thing, but it's on the ChatGPT platform. So it has everything that it could do. So you can type in like business plan creator, and it'll find a GPT to help you create a business plan. And you can kind of see like how many people have used them and the ratings. These are usually built by third parties. So just make sure that you know that going in. They may take you to another website. They may ask you to sign up for something. So just be aware of that. I always like to see what ChatGPT is creating. They're always creating some really cool things, and these never try to sell anything for you. This is kind of neat. ChatGPT use cases for work, professional writing coach. So you can use any of these with the free account. The only thing that you can't do with the free account is create your own GPT. If it's in your budget, I highly suggest getting the professional version because the custom GPTs are a real game changer. I'll show you some of mine. Actually, I'll show you now. They're pretty funny. So if you don't know, I love all Bravo shows. And so I created my entire AI team to be like Real Housewives. So here's my real person team. And then we have like the Real Housewives that work for Jam AI. So this is Morgan, and she'll do business development. So, oh, this is fitting. write a follow-up to a group that just watched our webinar. And so this is a good example of a GPT. I didn't have to put any content in, right, besides my question, because on the back end, it's fully trained on my business, on what we do. It's it knows my tone of voice, it knows my brand, it knows my links, it knows my top of funnel offers. So I don't have to train it on anything. And it's a great way to, when we saw that new work day and we're doing follow-ups, we're doing our social media, it's all because we're training AI to understand who we are. And that's why that AI business blueprint is so important because starting with that, you can really create how you want your LLM, like ChatGPT or Claude, to understand you. Okay, we'll come back to this in a little bit. I want to continue on to these other tools. So this is Claude, and again, it's another similar to ChatGPT, but different. I would recommend using this for long form content and for coding help. I know that seems like, why would I code? I'm not a coder. I'm sure we've all had times where we have to change HTML on a website or we're using a MailChimp or email marketing tool and it looks bad. You could just pop your content in here and say, make it HTML so you can do vibe coding, which is basically where you just say, here's what I'm looking for, please create it. So make me an app that is like the snake game, but orange. That's not anything that I'd want to do, but I just want to show you that it'll ask questions and then over here it'll start writing code for you to check out. And then it has a toggle once it's done writing the code where you can see what it looks like on the front end and the back end, because I think most of you on this call are like me. We're not developers. This is all mostly gibberish, but you can see it on the front end. So here we go. Pretty cool. So it's actually working too. And you could create things like this all the time. And if this is where AI gets so fun, especially for those creative brains, because think about all the top of funnel offer ideas or like games you can create for your prospects, for your customers. It's pretty cool. All right, jumping into Manus. This is the agentic AI that I showed you that made that tourism website. So in this example, I'm saying find names and emails for director level people who run associations in Colorado. If any of you have been looking for prospecting tools, I know I used to work at an agency that paid like a lot of money for one of those tools that will provide you with names and emails. And AI is probably going to put those companies out of business because it gave me all of the information that I would need for my prospecting. So again, names, emails, companies, and in our next trick that I'll show you in a minute, we'll develop a way to get in touch with them. This is Google Flow, the video tool that I was telling you about. These are some of their examples. They have different channels you can kind of scroll through. The really amazing thing about this, well, there's so many amazing things about this, is how realistic it is, but also how kind of like dreamy it can get. Like these are all realistic type ones, but then you could do like sillier things. And if you like one of these, you can click on it and get the prompt. They share the prompts here on the examples. So you could, just play with it and try to put it into your own brand. This one's weird. So I would usually go to ChatGPT and say, hey, help me create a prompt for Flow. Okay, I'm going to go back to the presentation and we're going to talk through a couple other marketing foundations and then we'll go back and play with real-time things again. Just get my screens back. 1 second. Okay. So as you know, with what I teach and what I believe and practice and show all of our people in Club Jam is It's all about old school strategy powered by AI because that really works. And that meeting where that person was having coffee, that's a real connection being made between two people, but they're there because AI got them there. So, the very first thing that you have to do is create an ICP. If you ever feel like you're bad at sales or prospecting, it's probably not the outreach method you're using. You probably don't have, a bad list. It's just that you don't know who you're talking to. You're kind of throwing darts in the dark and wondering why things aren't sticking. Maybe you're spending a bunch of money on Meta ads or LinkedIn ads and things just aren't coming through. Well, it's because you haven't gotten really in touch with who your ICP is and where they hang out and what they like. And knowing all of that is a real game changer. So back at one of the agencies I worked at, we used to create customer avatars for our clients. It was like a 6-month project, thousands and thousands of dollars, and really crazy that AI can do exactly what we did just in about 5 minutes. So we're going to create an ICP, and then we're going to talk about how we're connecting with them. I'm going to come back to this when we do the live example. So once we have that ICP, the next foundational element of marketing is taking them through the customer journey or the funnel. You guys may have heard this same concept talked about and defined many different ways, but I like this because I'm a very visual learner and I like how this, honestly, I've had this graph for years and years and I'm not getting rid of it. Um, this is how people find you and how they end up becoming your best friend and your customer. So that top of funnel is probably the most important. It's really casting that wide net. And this is where you're going to create social media posts, create your paid ads, your email sequences, you're going to do podcasts, any sort of offer that you have. But before you do a single one of these actions, you're going to define that ICP to a T so that all of these elements are created for that person. Same thing with middle of funnel. So this is where people are going to start warming up to you. This is going to be content funnels, more freebies, things that they're going to start realizing that, hey, you are a subject matter expert in the field that whatever you're in. And they're going to believe it because you keep giving them helpful resources day after day, week after week. And they're going to say, hey, you know what? When I need to buy a coconut mint candle, I know who to go to. And then bottom of funnel is more personalized and direct. And this can change depending on what type of business you are. If you're a service-based B2B company, this is in-person meetings. This is boxes delivered to their home with, maybe a work from home kit, thoughtful items. If you're more of a B2C, this could be a sample. This could be a coupon code, anything like that. In 2023 and early 2024, when I was doing AI workshops and keynotes, this is what it was all about, prompts, because we didn't have AI agents yet. We didn't have agentic tools helping us. I still really like these prompts, so I do use them once in a while, but they're mostly not needed because we do have I'll show you, our GPTs and our other tools. And the other really important part is being clear. So, in your marketing and sales strategy, you have to be clear. And this hook offer story is a clear communication path to your prospect. So, this is one of the frameworks that I believe in, use, and teach. So, the hook is what grabs attention. It's really that scroll stopping thing. So, we have to have a good one. The offer is the most important part. This is your value and what you're inviting them into. So it could be some sort of lead magnet, like a webinar, a free consult, a blueprint, a download of some sort. And then the next step has to be the story. So again, this is where you're building connection. Why you, why your company, why your product, why does this matter, and why does this matter now? And those are the questions that we teach people to answer in their email funnels. But building connection doesn't mean you have to be in person anymore. This could be completely automated. So let me share my screen. I'm going to show you a couple fun things that we did with our ICP agent. So what I meant by saying we don't need the um, prompts anymore is we have the ICP custom GPTs. And so basically you can just say, help me create my ideal client profile. And it'll lead you through a lot of questions to help you develop that. I know we're short on time and I had a lot to show, so I went ahead and did it this morning already. So this I changed a little bit because GPT-5 came out just last week, and we've had this ICP agent for a while. So I did the normal thing, but then I said, how could I use this tool the best way now that GPT-5 is out? And I was just blown away because it it told me how I could use it. So instead of just giving me my regular overview of who my ICP is, it made it action ready and gave me places to find them, like LinkedIn groups, event directories, and platforms. So again, it did that agentic move. It went out into the world, it found information and brought it back to me when I didn't ask it to. So that's where AI is really changing because it's really giving you ideas and doing things for you rather than you giving it a task and a thing to do. So it went out and did that. I did upload my business blueprint, and then it came back with, I won't make you guys read this, but it came back with a really good ICP profile. And then it came back with all sorts of places for me to find my ICP. And then the other thing I like to do, I just opened a new chat in the same tool, this ICP agent. This is available to anyone on ChatGPT. And here, close your eyes so you don't get dizzy. I asked it to create kind of like a clear profile that I could share with my team. And when I mentioned, this is what we did at agencies, it's actually really smart to create some sort of easy to read, easy to understand profile of your ideal client prospect. Because then when you go back and you create that top of funnel content, I want you to look at that and say, I am writing this content for Sarah. I'm making this offer for Sarah. And you can look at that offer and you can double check and say, does this align with what she does, what she needs, and what motivates her? And if any of those are a no, then you need to change it up. So that's how we create our ICPs now. And then the other thing we can do is pull that ICP into another custom GPT and create a top of funnel idea. So let me go back and grab this. Close your eyes again. Okay, I'm gonna copy this. So this was my ICP that it gave me originally. And I'm going to say, create top of funnel ideas for my ICP. Have to delete that part. I could upload my business blueprint at this point too and just start from there, but since I already had AI do all that work for me today, I might as well do it. So it's creating this top of funnel, AI in 20 minutes. So you could see, I'd be curious what it generates for you. It's really fun to see what it creates for other people. I know we're also heads down in our own businesses that sometimes it's just fun to see what else comes out. So that's how you can use ChatGPT to create the offer ideas. And then once you need to go create the idea, again, use these AI tools to help you build it. So obviously ChatGPT is great. I would use Claude to help me create any sort of like PDF or checklist. It also is great at implementing graphs and pictures. So that's why I'd use that. Manus to find out who to send it to. So yeah, there's endless opportunities with how to create this marketing content. There's also custom GPTs to help you with your meta ads and all of your advertising needs in Google. So there's really no reason to not be able to get in front of your clients. I know we're running short on time, but I do want to touch on AI agents and automations because 2025, that's kind of been the hot topic is how can you really, make these AI agents be hands-free, brain-free, right? They're just powered on and they go and do things for you. There are tools like make.com and Zapier that help make this really easy to do. I'm actually doing a live training tomorrow on how to build an automation in Zapier. But the big thing, and I've had people write me and say, I need an AI agent, and we talk through it, and then they realize they don't. So before you even think about building one, answer this question and actually write it out. So if you could hire someone for your business, who would it be? Really dream big, really start to think if you could hire someone with an unlimited budget, what would it be? What would their tasks be? And actually write up their job description. And then you kind of create like your ideal employee profile. And then once you have that, you can figure out what you're going to build your AI agent to do. So I like to tell people to build their entire marketing team. We have some really great prompts to help you do that. I do want to answer some questions, so I'm going to wrap up here. I want to leave you with a few things. So first, this is really important. Success is no longer defined by our traditional skills alone, but by the ability to strategically partner with AI. And we really want to amplify our strengths with AI, and we're going to use it to help us avoid our weaknesses. But at the same time, I want to know that I'm aware and I've seen that introducing all these AI tools can introduce friction and distraction and create inefficient workflows that actively will hinder your productivity. So please be careful about when and how you start using AI tools. Um, One last little plug about Club Jam. We do have 4 courses. So these are our 4 courses here. We have AI foundations that really go over AI tools, they more beyond than what I went on today. Um, AI sales and AI marketing are really just sales and marketing training, but we're introducing AI to help you do it more efficiently. And then in AI systems, we're bringing it all together and doing training on how to use these AI automation tools and how to use tool stacking to really get things done for you. And then my favorite part is this community. We meet at least once a week live because there's so many things in AI that are changing all the time. Last week, our one of our trainers, Tony, went and did a thing on Notebook LM. Tomorrow, I'm doing Zapier. We're just always learning, always teaching, and it's a great community. People have become friends and made some great business connections. And then the Clubhouse is full of templates and tools and AI agents and the GPTs. Um, I would like to extend this today, 50% off. We are accepting new members right now. Um, it's a great place, good community. You could use this code or use the QR code. And if you're not sure you want to start yet, we do have this mini course. It's like an email course. If you just kind of want to tiptoe in and if you're not sure you're quite ready, this is a cool way to just kind of see what it's all about. And we'll send you like 5 days in a row of how to create your blueprint, how to create your brand voice, and teach you about some AI agents. All right, I'm going to stop sharing and see if there's any questions.
Yes, thank you so much, Jam. There's so much good information in there. And I like that you included where folks can, find you or whatnot. One question we're getting a lot, and I'm just gonna give you a minute to get some water and stuff.
Yeah, sorry.
No, you're good. The recording is going to be available to everyone. So if you're
Mhm.
worried about, oh, I missed that or I need to dig into that again, you will get the recording and relevant resources. So just check your email. that you registered for today with. So you'll get a recording. There's going to be an article underneath the recording. So look to that for some of the tools and resources that were shared. Okay, this was a great question, Jam.
Hmm.
It's how do you organize using all of these tools? Because there's so
Ah,
many. So how do you like wrap your mind around that?
yeah, no, that's a great thing. And actually, something I talk about often. You have to create your AI system, right? And so whether you use Google Drive or Notion, or some people are like, I don't use either of those, that's great. Pull stuff onto your desktop, but create an AI systems page in your Google Drive or create a Notion document. And also, like, you need to track your subscriptions to stuff with all these tools. So, that's what I do. I have a Google Drive shared throughout my team, and we add to it and kind of also say what we use them for.
Ooh, that's a great idea. So having like a
Mhm.
place to go to
Yeah.
where you know everything that you're using and why you are using it. Okay, so you talked about the ICP, which is the ideal client profile.
Mhm.
The GPT one was, did you mention that that one was free on
Yeah.
ChatGPT?
Yeah. So all of my GPTs are just searchable in there. Or I'll share a link just to that specific one right now because I have it up. But otherwise, you can search for them.
Oh, wonderful. Okay,
Yeah.
so that's great. We're going to drop that
Cool.
in there. Okay, thank you. So Jam just
Yeah.
shared the link to the ideal client profile GPT, and then Amber has shared the free resource that Jam created for post webinar. So that is also shared. Is that the mini course, Jam?
The mini course is in there. Yeah. So that page that Amber shared, the mini course is in there. I saw somebody ask how much it was. It's free. So just try it. Yeah.
Yes, the mini course is free. Okay, wonderful. And then, okay, so this is a good question too.
Mhm.
Someone is curious about how much tweaking, so like rewriting, proofing, etc. Like how much time do you spend doing that after your LLM generates content for you?
Great question. 6 months ago, it was like a lot, probably, say it's an email marketing, just one email. I would write it, probably take like 10 to 15 minutes just to check links and make sure everything's good. Now it's probably more like 2 to 5 minutes because I have trained them so well at this point. But I've never, I shouldn't say never because I do have some automations for Facebook just for fun. But if it's something going to, my email list or LinkedIn or something, I've always touched it. So,
Yeah. That's a good point. I like that
yeah.
you mentioned that about just always, being willing to like double check and make sure it fits your tone, especially as you're training it. Okay, I'm just going to drop this again because I think a lot of folks are wondering where the mini course is. So the mini course
Okay.
is within that webinar freebie, so we're just dropping that again. Um,
Yep.
do, 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 do. Let's see. I'm looking through some more of the questions. Um, oh, okay. This is a great question because you mentioned how you can separate your personal AI with your work AI. Is
Hmm.
there any prompt you suggest to start to separate the two, or how do you start that process?
Oh, here, let me share my screen one more time. There's actually a projects area. So
Okay.
in your chat over on the left-hand side, see how it says new project right here?
Mhm.
So you'd click new project, and this is where you'd be like personal and then create the project. And then basically all your chats that are personal should just go in there. So like this is not the account I normally use. So like when I go back, here's my project folders and here's personal. So now I could be like, what's my horoscope? Right? And it
Oh,
won't like mess with um, whatever I'm doing for Club Jam.
got it.
Hopefully that helps. And then the settings for customizing, if you don't do that, are right there, just right above the your name, and then it says like customize chat GPT.
Ah, okay, so that's where you can just like in general train it to like have a specific tone overall. There
Yeah.
are a couple of people who have been using ChatGPT already and they haven't separated either because maybe we just learned it today that you could
Mhm.
have two projects. Do you have any tips for, going back and trying to use the information you've already trained ChatGPT on separating work and personal, or is it something you just kind of have to start from scratch?
That's a good question. And I will say with this last update with the GPT-5, it knows, like it's so smart. I do have a blend of my personal and work in my other account. And sometimes if it answers and I'm like, oh, that kind of seems like, it's not all a work answer, I can just prompt it better, right? So
Hmm.
that goes back to really understanding and knowing prompting and just being able to kind of see this is not a human I'm talking to, right? Like this is a system and it's giving me information based on data that it has. And so I can tell like, oh, this is like all of a sudden talking about how to train a Boston Terrier when I'm looking for like how to do an ad for my business. It wouldn't do that exactly, but just prompt it better and then it knows.
Yeah, okay. So it's kind of like this ongoing living process. Um,
Yeah.
okay, do you have any suggestions for tools that create videos that maybe combine various clips? Someone has some various clips of their product and they kind of want to put them together to make a video for socials. Do you have any thoughts on AI tools that can do that?
Yeah, so there's two. I'll share my screen again. The first one that I like is, well, it's not, okay, well, it's called Descript. It's like logging into an empty portal. Um, Here, it's called Descript, and you can basically do AI video maker. So you could have it generate based on like just text to video, or you could upload files and then tell it what you want it to do with that file. So for instance, if I want to cut this webinar into social media clips, I would upload it and do that. So this one's more of like you have to know what you're asking for. And then the other one is called Opus Pro. It's Opus Clip, opus.pro. And this one is a little bit more automated because you just upload your link or your file and it'll cut it up for you. And it also gives you posting of like what you should post and I wonder if I have any of these. This is not my account, but it'll cut up the project and then say like, 99% this is going to go viral. And then it gives you like the overview and it'll sometimes give you a post caption if you ask for it.
Okay, that's really cool. Okay, I'm just grabbing the sites because people are very interested in this. So let me drop this in the chat. So one was Opus Clip. Was the other one called The Script?
Here, I'll put it. It's
Oh, the
descript.com.
Script.
Sorry, that was so small. There we go.
There we go. Okay, wonderful. It's so
Yeah.
nice to have someone with your expertise because there are so many tools that it can feel
Yeah.
very overwhelming. So we really appreciate you answering all of those questions. And I feel like I cannot believe we're already at time. We're gonna have to make our
No.
future AI webinar like a series. But I really want to thank you, Jam, for coming and sharing how we can better utilize these tools and streamline some of our marketing operations. We really, really appreciate you. And we also appreciate everyone in the chat for taking time away from your businesses and your life. We know time is super valuable, so we're really thankful that you spent some time with us here today, and we hope you got something valuable out of it. We will make sure that we send the recording that is going to have like all of those great like screenshots and all the things Jam talked about today, as well as some resources. So yes, you will get the replay, I promise, tomorrow afternoon. So just keep an eye out. All right. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Jam. And we will see you in the next one. Bye.
Thank you, everybody.